So the Prime Minister has reacted on the poll violence that unfolded in Cooch Behar. Prime Minister Modi said that what happened in Cooch Behar is tragic and he's urged the Election Commission to take stern action. Let's listen in. The latest is that Prime Minister Modi has reacted on the Cooch Behar poll violence incident. Prime Minister Modi has said that he's condemned the attack. He said whatever happened in Cooch Behar is tragic and has urged Election Commission to take stern action. So for the benefit of our viewers who've just joined us, there's a recap that 5 people lost their lives in poll violence in Sitalkuchi of Cooch Behar district of West Bengal. This after the multiple conflicting versions have emerged as to what really led to violence and why the security forces were compelled to open fire at those people. Tanima Viswas, my colleague who's reporting from Bengal on these developments and is covering the Bengal elections for us, is joining me on the broadcast. Tanima, thank you for joining us. Really tense developments there coming in from Cooch Behar, a very, very sensitive district. We now know that the TMC delegation is all set to meet Election Commission. What more can you tell us about this incident and the latest situation on ground zero?
That's right. As you mentioned, that we've seen a series of reactions also coming in after that. It's been over 1 hour since that news actually broke of 4 people initially that we got to know, 4 people who have died in firing. Later on, the TMC, of course, said that 1 more person has died because of the violence, the ensuing violence that took place as a result of that. And the Trinamool essentially blaming central forces and saying that central forces had opened fire in order to disperse the crowd, which was apparently there was a skirmish in that area in Sitalkuchi, a particular booth in Sitalkuchi area of Cooch Behar, where the TMC initially alleged that it was an incident of booth capturing by allegedly by BJP workers. And at that point in time, the central forces, according to TMC, had opened fire, which had led to these 4 deaths and 1 more person dying in the violence. And following which, of course, we've seen that the Election Commission has taken cognizance of the Trinamool complaint which had been forwarded to them. They have sought a report from the local chief electoral officer, essentially asking for an incident report, so to speak, from that particular spot. But nonetheless, what we can in fact see is that the Trinamool has upped the ante against the central forces. A series of comments which are coming in from the Trinamool following that. Derek O'Brien, primarily the chief spokesperson of Trinamool, essentially saying that, that this is a conspiracy. He's also pointed out to the fact that in the past, as per the orders of the centre, the EC had also removed certain senior police officers, not just at the ADG or the DG level in Bengal, but also the local SP of this particular area had also been changed recently. So a series of these things have been pointed out by the Trinamool, and in just a few moments from now, we are expecting that they will be addressing a press conference, and also a little later at around 3 o'clock, a Trinamool delegation will be headed to the Election Commission office here in Kolkata in order to again physically go there and register their protest, and also in a way they've already submitted a letter, a formal complaint, but also visit the Election Commission office over here in order to, raise concerns about this grave situation which they claim has taken place, in this incident, and they are blaming the central forces squarely for this particular episode taking place in a very, very sensitive constituency like Cooch Behar in Bengal.
Right. Tanima, please stay on with us. We're getting Prime Minister Modi's reaction on this incident. Let's listen in.
कुछ बिहार में जो हुआ है वो बहुत ही दुखद है। जिन लोगों की मृत्यु हुई है, मैं उनके निधन पर दुख जताता हूं। मेरी संवेदनाएं उनके परिवार के साथ है। बीजेपी के पक्ष में जन समर्थन देखकर दीदी और उनके गुंडों में बौखलाहट हो रही है। आपकी कुर्सी जाते देख दीदी इस स्तर पर उतर आई है, लेकिन मैं दीदी को, टीएमसी को उनके गुंडों को साफ साफ कह देना चाहता हूं, दीदी और टीएमसी की मनमानी बंगाल में नहीं चलने दी जाएगी। मेरा चुनाव आयोग से आग्रह है कि कूच बिहार में जो हुआ उसके दोषियों पर सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई हो।
Right, so that's a very big development that's coming in from West Bengal's Cooch Behar district, where at least 5 people were shot dead after clashes broke out in Sitalkuchi area. Political war of words has now sparked off between both the BJP and TMC. The TMC has alleged that BJP miscreants captured booths and that the death was due to firing by central forces. The BJP has hit back, saying that the TMC is perturbed at the fact that so many people are voting for the party. And now, taking cognizance of the matter, the Election Commission has sought a detailed report on the incident. Meanwhile, TMC delegation will be meeting the poll body this afternoon at 3 p.m. Tanima is still with us. Tanima, while we wait for an official word as to how the investigation takes place in the case and what actually happened, we'll have to wait and watch what the Election Commission says in this regard. You've been covering Bengal elections. You know the mood on the ground, the pulse on the ground. And you've also, in your reportage, mentioned how Cooch Behar and other parts of Bengal have witnessed political rivalry and bloodshed in the past. And this election, barring a few exceptions, we've seen that most of it was a smooth election season, has been a smooth election season so far. For the benefit of our viewers, could you put in context the level of political rivalry that exists between the TMC and the BJP? And earlier we've seen, we've always we've reported about violence during the left regime. So Bengal is a state that has experienced and witnessed and is a living testimony of to political violence. In this election season, could you set the context of what really is the TMC and BJP political rivalry all about?
That's right. In fact, political violence is not new to Bengal, especially taking place while on a polling day. That's also not new to Bengal or a Bengali voter. In fact, considering all of that over the past few phases, the 3 phases that we have covered so far, except for Nondigram, when the Chief Minister had in fact gone out and was inside a particular polling booth for a little over 2 hours, where she had in fact claimed that TMC polling agents, booth agents were not being allowed to enter in order to observe. Except for that incident where we saw a bit of a tension on the ground, where there was in a way the villagers had in fact come over there. There was slogan shouting. Except for that particular incident which we saw in Nondigram, largely if you speak in the Bengal elections till today had in fact been free of major incidents. There had been a few reports from here and there of whether BJP workers are being attacked or BJP leaders' convoys being attacked. Those incidents had in fact been reported. No major incident in fact till date had in fact taken place on a polling day. In fact, I was at Diamond Harbour area on the 3rd phase of elections, and even there voters were commenting about how generally they are a little afraid of coming out of their houses on polling day, and considering that this is such a heated election this time around, they had also been a little apprehensive about coming out to cast their vote. But they were pleasantly surprised that even sensitive areas like Diamond Harbour, there were no major incidents reported. So yes, largely in terms of major incidents, Bengal elections so far had not seen any such episode. But the incident which has taken place today in Cooch Behar, if we are to go by the allegations levelled by the Trinamool, where they are holding the central forces responsible for the death of 5 people so far, that is of course a very, very grave charge, and something that the Election Commission has also in fact now sought an official report on. As we mentioned that there's obviously been a history of political violence in Bengal. Firstly, it was between between the left and the Trinamool. And in this particular election, what we have seen, it's the BJP versus the TMC. That is what the election has, in fact, in a way been seen as a two-way battle between these two parties. And we have seen countless comments and countless allegations being made both by BJP and TMC leaders against each other in the run-up to these elections. Even during these elections, just in the last phase, we saw that the TMC candidate from Arambagh, Sujata Mondol, there was a video which had also come out which showed her being attacked and allegedly at that time by BJP workers. And even just a few days back, we reported on how BJP Bengal chief Dilip Ghosh, his convoy at the same area where this incident has taken place today in Sitalkuchi area of Cooch Behar, his convoy being attacked as well. Fortunately, in this case, both these leaders had not been personally in any way injured, but nonetheless, these are incidents which had taken place during the elections on, close to the polling day and on polling day as well, as I mentioned. So incidents and violence, so to speak, in Bengal elections is not new. But in this case, an allegation being squarely leveled at central forces, that is something which is very serious. And of course, possibly the most important or the most serious and grave allegation which has come through in terms of violence this time around in Bengal elections. We'll of course have to wait and see. We've heard the Prime Minister a short while back condemning the deaths in a way and expressing his condolences to the families who have lost loved ones. But we'll of course have to wait and see. We've also heard from the BJP, one of the candidates this time also, and a BJP leader, Rahul Sinha, essentially saying that the TMC is using these incidents as diversionary tactics. But nonetheless, the official word from Election Commission is yet to be heard. They have sought a report from the Chief Electoral Officer so far from that particular area. We know that the TMC delegation, a 5-member delegation, will be going to meet the Election Commission officials who sit here in the Kolkata office. They will be having a word with them as well. But as we mentioned, that this is a very, very grave allegation on a day of polling when, this incident, the report came in around 11:30, which is just like the rest of the day of election or polling is still to be done, not just in Cooch Behar but in other parts of Bengal as well. This is not the kind of news that a Bengal voter wants to hear on a polling day. But nonetheless, at the moment, as we know, that the deployment of central forces as well as local police is pretty high in Cooch Behar and especially particularly in the Sitalkuchi area. And they are, of course, keeping an eye on the ground situation in order to make sure that the situation on ground doesn't escalate and that the tensions are calmed down in a way.
Right. Tanima, please stay on with us. We're getting breaking inputs on this story. And the latest that we are getting is that the Election Commission has stopped polling in one station of Sitalkuchi. This is one particular station, and it's based on an interim report. That is the latest that we are getting in. Polling has been stopped in one particular station of Sitalkuchi where this violence took place. For more on this, let me go across to Ayushman on this story. Ayushman, thank you for joining us on the broadcast. The latest that we're getting is taking note of what really happened today in Cooch Behar's Sitalkuchi. Now the Election Commission has stopped polling in one station. What more can you tell us about this development?
Well, Archana, currently Election Commissioner has received the initial report from the special observers. This is the polling station number 125 in Sitalkulchi of Cooch Behar, where the violence has taken place and allegedly 4 people have died after firing. And the Commission has immediately sought a report from the CEO, and also the observers will be sending report. Remember, 2 of these special observers are there in West Bengal. So the Commission has sought the detailed report from them. It will be coming by 5 p.m. But for now, till the time the report comes, till that time, the polling has been stopped in this particular polling station where the violence has taken place. The Commission has said that new date will be given for re-polling later, but for now, polling will be stopped in polling station number 125 of Sitalkuchi in Cooch Behar. At the same time, the Commission has also sought the detailed report from the special observers and the CEO of West Bengal. We are being told that even CISF will be submitting the detailed report as to what happened and what led to this entire incident where 4 people have died. For now, the Commission has said that the polling will be stopped at this particular polling booth.
All right, thank you Ayushman for that very important development that has just come in, that booth number 125, the polling at this particular station in Sitalkuchi will be stopped. The Election Commission will announce a new date for repolling. However, that is not confirmed yet, but what is confirmed is that the polling in this particular station, booth number 125 in Sitalkuchi in Cooch Behar district, has been stopped.